Welcome to the session on botany in ancient India, Lecture-52. So today, let us discuss about the Chikitsa to plants in olden days. We had already discussed about Lecture-52 texts of Varahamira, then Agni Purana, Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, and also a few topics on Surapala's Lecture-52. Now, the Chikitsa, that is treatment of plant diseases as it was observed in olden days, and also as per the Surapala, we can have a look over. So it is mentioned as Jayet Vatabhavan Rogan Mamsamedo Vasa Ghritayi Sekaha. So that means one should cure the diseases caused by wind, Vata Bhavan Roga. Vata Bhavan means which is caused by the wind. That has to be cured by the watering of flesh, limb, fat, and ghee. And also the watering of all these substances removes all disorders of wind, it is mentioned. So, Sekha Sarva Vata Vikaranut. Sekha Sarva Vata Vikaranut. Then liberal fumigation, then gently of oil of Arishta Goshranga Turanga Kesham Shanais Sasarpihi Shishumara Taileihi Sakola Bhedo Abhirudarudhupaihi Nivarayet Maruta Rogamashu. So Maruta Rogam Nivarayet removes quickly the diseases caused by the wind. And also, it is mentioned that diseases caused by the disorders of kapha, kashayahi, katukaihi, tikshnehi, kafakratan, gadam jayet. Kashayahi, katukaihi, tikshnehi, kafakratan, gadam jayet. Diseases caused by the disorders of kapha, kafakratan, doshan, are to be treated with a mixture of astringent, bitter, and pungent substances. Panchamula Kratakwadehi Surabhi Salilenatu. Mixture of astringent, bitter, and pungent substances, decoction made of roots of Panchamula, fall trees, and water of jasmine. Therefore, curing all kinds of diseases caused by kapha, he may further mentions that applying oil cakes of white mustard, Sitasarshapakalkamcha, Mule Dattva Nishechayet. Sitasarshapakalkamcha, Mule Dattva Nishechayet. So, for curing all kinds of diseases of kapha, applying oil cakes of white mustard to the roots of a tree, Mule, and irrigating it with water in which of sesamum have been dissolved. Tilabhuti jalais sarva kafaroga nivritte sarva kafaroga nivritte evam karaniyam sarva kafaroga nivritte evam karaniyam sivasarshav kalkam cha mule dattva nishechayet tilabhuti jalaihi. So, for curing all kinds of diseases caused by kapha, applying oil cakes of white mustard to the roots of a tree and irrigating it with water in which of tila, sesamum have been dissolved. Then, advisement for curing the diseases of trees affected with disorders of vata, wind, vata. Having dug out the earth near their roots, places their fresh, dry earth, Uddhatyam Shrimrudutta Rukshamanya Mridamyase Balasarogina Prajnaha Tadroga Vinivrittaye Shitalayir Madhura Prayir Dravyayir Pitta Samudbhavan. Then further he says, a wise man should remove all the diseases of all kinds of the trees caused by the disorders of by means pitta, the disorders of pitta, by substances that one cool in effect and sweet gently, that one cool and sweet effect gently. So Surapala says, a wise man should remove the diseases of all kinds of trees caused by the disorders of pitta by substances that one cool in effect and sweet generally. Shitalayhi madhuraprayaihi dravyaihi pitta samudbhavan sarvabhurha jatinam rogan apanayet sudhihi. Then the trees which are the trees are to be cured of diseases caused by pitta. So the diseases caused by pitta are to be cured, being watered by milk. Kshirena madhumishrena yasti madhukajaihi. Tree, they are being watered by milk mixed with honey and by decoction of yasti, honey and madhuka. Then trifalajaihi siktana. All kinds of trees are free from diseases caused by pitta when irrigated with the water decoction of the fruits of tree myrabelam, that is trifala, mixed with ghee and honey. Phala trifalajaihi siktaha sarpi madhusamanvitaihi munchanti sarve rogan pitta samudbhavan rogan munchanti. So they will be afflicted. Then a wise man, having dug out from the root Kandavaka and other insects, ought to irrigate the trees with cold water for 7 days. Then one should destroy insects. So here the destruction of the insects have been mentioned, how the insects are to be destroyed. How the insects are to be destroyed. First it is mentioned that Kodritya Mulata Prajna Karin Kandara Kadikan Nishinche Shita Salilehi Purhan Saptavasaram. Then Payaha Kunapa Bhillota Vacham Govit Jalam Jayit Siddharthabda Vacha Ustha Adi Vishalepanam Kramin. That means one should destroy insects by administering water containing milk, Kunapa Jala, Kunapa water, then Lodha, Vacha, and cow dung, and by plastering with Siddhartha, Mustha grass, Vacha, Pusta, and Ativisha, but medicinal plants. And further about the insects, that is, which are being infected by insects. The collection of insect trees is definitely destroyed by the fumigation of the tree with the white mustard. So it is to be destroyed by the fumigation of the tree with the white mustard. Vidanga, vacha, black pepper with the water of the flesh of cow horns of buffalo and flesh of pigeon mixed with the powder of lothra. Then besmearing of the tree with vidanga mixed with ghee, irrigating with saltish water for 7 days, and use of a paste of beef, white mustard, and sesame removes Kandalaka and other insects. So here we have seen how to remove the insects from the plants, because the insects, they also destroy the growth of plants, and the removal of insects is needed. Wound caused by insects is headed when besmeared with jantugna with vidanga, sesame, cow's urine, ghee, and white mustard, and watered well with milk. Jantugna tilago motra sarpisiddharthalepitah samsiktah payasa jantukrutas samrohati vranaha. Then himachandataparthanam karyam achadanam bahihi. Trees that are affected by frost and excessive heat are to be covered by screening from outside. So the trees that are affected by frost and excessive heat are to be covered by screening from outside and watering them well with kunapa jala, and milk is beneficial. Kunapa ambu payovischa parishekaha prashishyate. When he says about the restoration of the broken trees, the broken trees are restored to health, that means they are healed, when broken parts are filled with fertile soil, apurya, sasmruddhir mahishi kshirena saparisamsiktaha. They are healed when the broken parts are filled with fertile soil and watered well quickly with the buffalo's milk and filled with water at the root. So the broken trees are restored to health, that means they are healed when broken parts are filled with fertile soil and watered well quickly with buffalo's milk and filled with water in the root. The trees whose branches have fallen, srasta shakhascha, the trees whose branches have fallen off, be smeared with honey and ghee. Tatsthane samlipta madhusatpisha. Samlipta madhu satpisha. They have to be besmeared with honey and ghee on those spots and irrigated with milk. Siktaha payo ambubhi, irrigated with milk and water, that the view of the sky is obstructed by their branches. When the trees burn with fire, how to deal with the trees which are burnt with fire? Maybe for different reasons. They have been affected by fire. So if they are scraped or cut at that place and irrigated with milk and water and are fumigated with skulls of tortoise, kulira means tortoise, and other animals grow good foliage. Supallavaha, foliage means pallava. Vannidadhascha tatsthane, vanni means fire. If the trees are burnt with fire, Vannidadhasya tatsthane chitva sikta payombibihi payombubihi kulira katparadhyascha dhupitasya supallava. The quotation we have taken from Sarvala's Vrikshayurveda. Sarvange padmini pankairvittavannikaralitaha. Trees burned with fire when besmeared with the paste of lotus plant overall parts and irrigated with kunapa jala, kunapa water and milk become the best among trees. They become the best among the trees. Santi Shakhabratam Varaha. Santi Shakhabratam Varaha. Best among the trees. When the trees burned with lightning, trees burned with the lightning. When besmeared with vidari, sugar, sharkara, red arsenic, nagajihva, and sesame, tila. Badari, sharkara, nagajihva, tila vilepitaha. And sesame and irrigated with milk and water, they bear beautiful leaves. Santi, sat pallava, vajradadhaha siktaha payo ambubihi. Vajradadhaha means trees which are burnt with lightning, due to lightning when they are burnt. So they should be besmeared with vidari, sugar, red arsenic, nagajihva, and sesame and tila, and then irrigated with milk and water. They have beautiful leaves. So like this, various methods of treatment are being observed in Vrikshayurveda, in Chikitsa part. Chikitsa means the treatment of plant diseases. Here we can observe all these things. Further, it is mentioned when the trees are wounded, they are healed by besmearing according to the prescription by the powder of the bark of Negrudha and Udumbara, and then mixing with cow dung, honey and ghee. Mixing with cow dung, honey and ghee. Negrodho Udumbari Valka Gomaya Kshaudra Sappisha Pralepane Vidhanena Vrano rohati shakinam vrano rohati shakinam vrana rohati. Then deflection of sap from trees caused by the wounds is stopped by the besmearing with the paste of the barks of Dhava, Shriparnika, Shyama, Vetasa and Arjuna. And also even the diseases caused by wrong nursing. Diseases caused by wrong nursing. They are also being cured. Diseases caused by wrong nursing are being cured by besmearing. Wrong nursing. Mithya upacharajan. Mithya upachara. That means mithya. That means wrong nursing. By besmearing with the paste of vidanga powder with ghee and irrigating with water and milk. Vidanga churna sammishra sajya panka vilepanai. Vidanga churna sammishra sajya panka vilepanai. Jaye jalapayassekai rogan mithya upacharaja upacharaja mithyoupacharaja rogan mithyoupacharaja. These are diseases caused by wrong nursing are to be cured. Then the jaundice of the trees, Pandaroga, Prashamyati. Pandaroga is cured in Only 1 week by irrigating with the powder of barley and ghee mixed with honey, milk and water. Panduroga is cured in only 1 week, within a week, by irrigating with the powder of barley and ghee mixed with honey, milk and water. So there are a lot of scope for research, even the practical research, even today, based on these explanations. Yavagodhuma sambhota churna kshaudra sekai sattaha matrena pandurogas prashamyati vandhya mahiruha siktaha payah kunapavaribhihi bhavanti pushpapalitaihi sarvashapurikaha. So the barren trees irrigated with milk and kunapajala, barren trees, vandhya mahiruha siktaha payat kunapavarivihi, when they are irrigated with milk and kunapa water, they bear flowers and fruits, become the fulfiller of all hopes. Sarva asha purikaha. Sarva asha purikaha. Katham phala pushpapalitaihi bhavanti. They pushpapalitaihi bhavanti. They bear flowers and fruits. Then barren trees always fulfill the hopes with the flowers and fruits, nourished with a cooled decoction of tila, sesame, barley, java, kulatha, masha, and modga. Watering with sesame and the powder of the stool of goats and sheep, measuring each one adhaka and a prastha of barley, shaktu, it is barley meal, a drona of water, and a tula of beef called mixed. All this mixed and kept over for 7 nights by watering leaves, flowers, and fruits. Saptaratroshitam chaitat sekat pushpa phalapradam. Saptaratroshitam chaitat sekat pushpa phalapradam. When trees suffering from indigestion caused by waterlogging are to be dug out with the fingernails and uprooting each root and besmearing them with honey, vidanga, etc., pour water into them. Trees suffering from indigestion caused by waterlogging. They are to be dug out with the fingernails and uprooting each root and besmearing them with honey, vidanga, etc., pour water into them. Ajirnam bukaragrena bhitva krishya vilipya cha. Ajirnambu karagrena bhitva krishya vilipya cha pratimulam kilakshodra vidangadjair jalam nyase. So this is how even ajirna is to be cured. Then fumigation, pungent fumigation to sapling. Dhrupanam tekshnam nabaleshu prayojayet. Dhrupanam tekshnam baleshu na prayojayet. Bala means to sapling. It means a wise man should not administer pungent fumigation to the sapling and also should avoid even besmearing of light substance. Mridvapyalepanam jati matiman parivarjayet. Matiman parivarjayet. Mridvapyalepanam cha ati matiman ati mridvapyalepanam cha matiman parivarjayet. Dhupanam tekshnam na baleshu prayojayet. Baleshu na prayojayet. Kim na prayojayet? Dhupanam tekshnam. Should not administer pungent fumigation to sapling, and also should avoid even besmearing of light substance. So a wise man and also wise man should transplant in a land of another special soil, transplanting a plant if a plant is not cured in a particular land. A wise man should transplant in a land of another special soil a tree of which the disease is not cured even with the application of the various recipes mentioned. Iti vividha vidhi prayukta yogairapi nahi shanti upaiti yasya rogaha shanti upaiti tam aparasu vishishta bhu pradeshe aparasu vishishta bhumi pradeshe Dharaniruham Pratiropa Ved Manisho. Pratiropa Ved Manisho. So a wise man should transplant in a land of another special soil, a tree of which the disease is not cured, even with the application of the various recipes mentioned. There may be some problem with the soil then, so we should change the soil. It should be transplanted to another place, another land. So this is how the curing the diseases of trees, treatment of plant diseases is explained. Then we can discuss about the botanical marvels, that is Vichitra Adhyaya, Vichitra. Vichitra Adhyaya, it deals with the botanical marvels. So nowadays we saw a lot of botanical marvels which have been caused through technological methods. Then how the ancient people, they used to have the botanical marvels. It is very nice to see. It is very much interesting to see. So you can see even in Upavana Vinoda also, seedless fruits are being mentioned. Upavana Vinoda is a text of 13th century. Madhuyasti sita pushtham madhupushpa vinirmitaihi modakais charide mule nirasthisyat phalamtaro. It is mentioned in Upavana Vinoda. Madhuyasti sita pushtham madhupushpa vinirmitaihi modakais chadite mule nirasthisyat phalam taro. A paste prepared out of the madhuyasti, sugar, kushta, madhupushpa together applied to the root of a tree that produces seedless fruits. That produces seedless fruit. Taroho nirasti phalam syat. Nirasti phalam syat. Seedless fruits are being produced like this. Then seedless vegetables. Nowadays we saw there are some issues about the seedless vegetables which are caused with the latest technology. But in ancient days it was prepared in a very peculiar way. What we can see in Upavana Vinoda. Kushmandavarta kapato lakadi bijam vasabhavita mukta siktam virodhitayam movisaruvakalam phalanyanasthini mahanti dhatte. If the seed of Kushmanda, brinjal, pataka, patola, and several plants be treated with animal fat, vasa, bhavita mukta siktam, animal fat, and then sown in a purified ground. That means well prepared ground. And water be sprinkled over them. The fruits that grow out of them become big and seedless. The fruits become big and seedless. So these are some of the methods being mentioned in olden days to get seedless having yes, seedless and big fruits. So it's very much interesting. Vichitra botanical marvels. The availability of flowers and fruits in all times, the bearing of fruits and flowers out of season, and creation of different fragrance, the fruits being standards and the creation of other tastes. Sada pushpa phala bhakti rakala phala pushpita. Sada pushpa phala bhakti rakala phala pushpita. Tatha gandha samutpatti ranasthitvam rasanyata. These are all the botanical marvels being explained. Availability of flowers and fruits in all times, and bearing of fruits and flowers out of the season, the creation of different fragrance, the fruits being standards, and the creation of other taste. Anyata rasa. Varna pravartanam pushpa parivritti phalanyata. Gandha pravartanam gandha bandhanam valli pushpata. Gandha pravartanam, the change of color, the change of flowers, pushpa parivrittihi, phalanyata, the bearing of other fruits, the change of fragrance, gandha pravartanam, then gandha bandhanam, the retention of fragrance, the change of fragrance. And the efflorescence of creepers, valli pushpata, efflorescence of the creepers. These are also being observed in botanical markets. The transformation of trees, apakaha phaladirghatvam latatvam vamanatvam ja mishrata chirapakata apaka phaladirghatvam nashasam pratijanmacha. Transformation of the trees into creepers, latatvam, then vamanatvam, the dwarfing of the trees, the mixing of varieties, the ripening for a long period, not ripening of fruits at all, the bigger size of the fruits, the destruction of fruits, and immediate fructification of the fruits. These are also being observed. Then the immediate fructification, the creation of flowers and fruits of trees which do not bear, then the bearing of big fruits from the birth and the bearing of fruits without female parts in a flower are botanical marvels which are described by Surapala. Viyoni jananam cheti vichitram tadyadhadruna apaka paladirgatvam nashaha sampratijanmacha tatkala bhalata pushpa bhalata janmat pinata viyoni jananam cha iti vichitram. So these are the botanical marvels which are being described by Surapala. The good quality of well-ripened seed of mango kept well for 2 fortnights in the blood of tortoise and rabbit, and having been dried through a focus of the rays of the sun, focus of the large quantity of the rays of the sun, Charkamarichi is to be sown in a good pit already dug and prepared according to rules. Sugartake purva vidhana samskrute supakvamakandajavija muttanam dvipakshakam kurma shashamra samsthitam vape vishoshyamarkamarichi samchayi. There is no surprise that a tree watered with the milk of a goat grows thousands of flourishing and beautiful branches and always bears pleasing fruits and flowers. So, for getting the pleasing fruits and flowers, the methods are being explained by Sripala here. When the tree is irrigated with water, mixed with a powder, Pinyaka, Janturipu, Vidanga, beef kopala, and with roots sprinkled with the churned juice of sugar cane, surely bear pleasing fruits and flowers for months out of season. When trees fumigated, there is no doubt that carefully with kunapojala and honey spread fruits and flowers out of season. So to get the fruits and flowers out of season, vitanvanti cha, akale phalapushpani vitanvanti, akale phalapushpani vitanvanti, akale phalapushpani, fruits and flowers out of season. For that, dhupitaha kunapakshaudrai prayatnena mahiruha. Trees fumigated carefully with kunapajala and honey. They will give fruits and flowers out of season. Akala phalapushpani, akale phalapushpani, vitanvanti. Then small soil scented with the flowers of Ashoka, Kalika, and other applied to the root creates exceeding fragrance which is pleasing. Ashoka Kalika Dina Pushpavasitaya Brada Mule Bhute Tisaurabhyam Jayate Sumanoharam. Jayate Sumanoharam. Ashoka Kalikadina Pushpavasitaya Mrada Mule Bhuteti Saurabhyam Jayate Sumanoharam. Sumanoharam Jayate. Soil scented with the flowers of Ashoka, Kalika, and other applied to the root creates exceeding fragrance which is pleasing. Then a tree, the hole in whose root has been filled up with balls made of ashwadna, langali, visha, and two brihatis, and sprinkling by the decoction of those, though naturally giving sweet fruits, surely produces bitter fruits. How to get the bitter fruit is also explained by Surapala. How to get the bitter fruits. Ashwadnalangali vishabrihati dvayena pindikritena paripuritamoolarandhaha vrikshastvamibhirabhishecanatah prasute tiktam phalam sahajamishtaphalopi nunam. Tiktam phalam sahajam ishtaphalopi nunam. Which are sahajataya sweet fruits, they surely produces bitter fruits by the application of these. Then a small tree, Vitapi, bitter by nature, after searching the root, being besmeared profusely with the milk of tenacious paste kalka, vidanga yasti yavakalka dubdhair, gudanvitair lepanato timatram, atimatram, vilikhyamule vitapi swabhava, tiktas sudha pradyapalani sute. So a small tree littered by nature after searching the root being besmeared profusely with a male coftinaceous space. There is Kalka of Vidanga, EST and Java, barley mixed with jaggery produces fruits with interior sweet like ambrosia, that is Amrita Phala is Sudha. Sudha means Amrita. Amrita Samana Phala is available. And to acquire sweetness, though sour, how to get the sweetness? It is mentioned here. Madhukas kusumak shodra yasti draksha sitaya vaihi ullikhya lepita shisto datte lopi chadmishtantam. By sprinkling with water of Nisha, Kimshuka, that is Palasha, cotton, that is Karpasa, Manjishtha, and Madhuka, Kusumakshodra, Yasti, Draksha, Sitaya Vaihi. The white flower of tree acquires the splendor of gold, that is Chamihara. So like this, products, they give different kinds of trees, the various markets we can see here. The fruits of golden color, how to get? A tree in whose roots are scattered Nili, Nisha, Lodra, Vacha, Sisamem, and Asana. Nili, Nisha, Lodra, Varatila, Sanai, Kasi, Sayasti, Sahitai, Vichurnyatei. Being powdered, it is a tree in whose roots are scattered Nili, Nisha, Lodra, Vacha, Sisamem, and Asanam, along with Kashisha and Yasti are being powdered and which is irrigated while with water bears fruits of golden color. Golden color fruits are available like this. So all kinds of flower plants whose area of root is fully filled well with soil, which is exceedingly scented with fully blown flowers of their own and sprinkled with water. Musta, Mura, Nata, and Dala. And wine, there is Sura, spread extreme fragrance. How to get the fragrance? Swai prafulla kusumai rativasanadhir mridvirnitanta paripuritam ladesha mustamuranata dalam busurabhishikta gandham param vitanute akhila pushpajatihi. So these are all the various botanical marvels that we can observe in ancient days. A sapling planted in pit filled well with the powder of cow's bones, burned properly, full of ashes and irrigated with the water washings of beef. On account of irrigating with profuse water of the flesh of cow grows flowers into an assemblage of creepers. Vallijayena paripushyanti nityameva. Paripushyanti nityameva. If a seed is sown in a hole at the root of a tree, if the seed is sown in a hole at the root of a tree, Vijoni vrikshani mrudachite vate samyak prakirne tilachurna shaktubhi ukto Dadhi kshira jalavase janai yathasvaneva pratijayate lata. So if a seed is sown in a hole at the root of a tree without a place of origin, there is Yoni, which has been filled with soil and has been properly scattered with powder of tila, sesamum, and powdered barley java, a sprout is duly appears to get the sprout. Jayate lata. A dwarfish tree planted by a man with clear brain and following the prescribed method in a pit measuring the height of a man and lined properly, that is built properly with a collection of new bricks, bears fruits. Purusha pranite khate samyak ghatite navestaka nichayi janito yatanvata taru amaladhiya vamana phalati. And how to remain a sapling dwarfish? Chatustambhaka Chatustambhakritalambo Mulasanna Krite Vate Vinyasto Nipunai Sikto Vamanasyat Payoguna Vamanasyat Payoguna Vamanasyat Payoguna. A sapling planted by experts in a hole, avatar, Mulasanna Krite Avate, created near the root and supported on 4 pillars irrigated with milk and water, that remains dwarfish. That is dwarfish. So this is how the dwarfish plants are being got. So like this, by the application of different methods, we can get the botanical markers here. So it is highly interesting to know all these things. So we have a lot of scope to study and check whether the things mentioned are correct. But as Surapala himself says, he mentioned all this with practical knowledge. He said earlier to him. So today we can go with further studies on all these things. But not only theoretically, even the practical aspects can also be studied. So these are all various aspects what we can see for the botanical marvels. Then a coconut tree irrigated with water mixed with rice tandula is destroyed. Coconut tree irrigated with water mixed with rice, that is tandula, is destroyed. A cotton tree, when irrigated with water, mixed with the leaves of neem, does not last long. So these are some methods to destroy, and it cannot last long. A tree besmeared with a paste of payasa, it is kshira kapuli, arjuna, tarkari, salt and water, and its bark pierced all over with the bone of a hop, does not yield fruits. Which does not yield fruit. Such trees can also be grown with some special methods. A tree gives up flowers and fruits when irrigated with the water of decoction, kwatha, made of kuladha, or when irrigated with the water mixed with the kimshuka, that is palasha, arjuna, tarkari, and salt. Kuladha kwatha to yena taruh pushpa phalam tyajet. Taruh pushpa phalam tyajet. A tree gives up flowers and fruits when irrigated with water decoction, that is kwatha of Kulatha, or when irrigated with the water, mixed with the Kimshuka, that is Palasha, Arjuna, Tarkari, and salt. Kimshuka, Arjuna, Tarkari, Lavanambu, Kshanena va, Alapushpam Jajet. So these are different methods which are observed in olden days. Now we need to check the pramana, how much they are to be treated, how much treatment is to be done, how much amount we should give, all those things. They are to be checked, they need to be checked and researched. Because we have the textual knowledge now, text knowledge, and practical aspects need to be experimented and need to be studied. Because now, according to our modern lifestyle, according to our modern technology, according to our modern equipments, with the traditional knowledge, how we can blend them, how we can make the best, we have to see. There are a lot of methods are mentioned for giving flowers and fruits, and even in one of the shloka, he says that is a tree whose seed is treated well in the oil extracted from Ricola, fish, shishumara, human fat, hawk, and crocodile, and especially dried and then sown in a good soil sprinkled with hay water through watering soon produces flowers and fruits. A pomegranate seed heated and then planted, being irrigated well with a decoction of triphala, ghee, and the fat of a hog bears fruits of the size of the fruits of a tala. So, a lot of such things are being explained by Surapala. The seed of Shleshmataka treated 7 times, being mixed with the egg, and the seed of Ankolaka rubbed with the dung of a buffalo were dried in shade, mixed with the dung of buffalo and soil, and irrigated well with hay water when sown produces a lotus kumuda. What can be done causing foul madness? That's what he says. Shleshmatakasya bijam nishkulitam satthabhavitam peshyam ampolakasya mahishi gomaya drishtam tvanatape shushkam mahishi karisha mratsna yuktam karakajalena samsiktam Uttam janayat kumudam kurute kimaschariyam. This Vichitra Adhyaya, that is botanical marvels, are explained by Surapala. So it is very much interesting to know about the botanical marvels, wherein even without the modern biotechnological instruments and all those, they did in a different way with what you can say as an organic method. So this is what they had given us, the traditional knowledge on Vichitra Adhyaya and also Chikitsa of plants. I think you got a very much interesting topic here. So this is really interesting to know how our ancient people nurtured the plants. They got various marvels in plants. This shows their interest in nature and their technology adopted in producing different kinds of flowers, fruits, dwarf maize, etc., etc. So here we got a lot of things which are really marvels, botanical marvels. So you can see the contribution of ancient people, especially our Indians. Bharatiyana Daitvam Atyamuka. So to repeat again, in botanical marvels, we can see different aspects such as the availability of flowers and fruits in all times, the bearing of fruits and flowers out of season, the creation of fragrance, the fruits being standards, and the creation of other tasters. The change of color, the change of flowers, the bearing of other fruits, the change of fragrance, the retention of fragrance, and the efflorescence of creepers. The transformation of trees into creepers, the dwarfing of trees, the mixing of varieties, the ripening for a long period, not ripening of fruits at all, the bigger size of fruits, the destruction of fruits, and immediate fructification of fruits. The immediate fructification of the creation of flowers and fruits of trees which do not bear them, the bearing of big fruits from birth, and the bearing of fruits without female parts in a flower. These are all the different botanical marvels of what is being observed in ancient India. Maybe these are being observed even before 8th century. At that time itself, they were experts in all these things, and they had their own technology to develop all these things. So I hope you got a lot of information on this, and let us end the session. Thank you.